Okay. Hello. Welcome to Hoodzpah's live stream. We've been doing a couple of these every week just to stay connected and to feel like society is still together. I don't know. So welcome. I'm Amy Hood. I'm one half of Hoodzpah. I will be your host for today, your docent, your Sherpa, if you will. Tell us where you're from in the chat. I see we've got a couple viewers in already. We'll wait for a few more. But today we're going to be doing something a little different. Normally we do logo designs, things like that, sometimes real client work, which is fun. But today we are doing something just for the fun of it. Just because, dang it, we love design. And I think that's really important. When I do portfolio reviews for students, I always note when someone has a portfolio post that's just their own project, just for fun, or even when we're trying to hire subcontractors and things like that. It's really important to just make art for the sake of doing it, learning a skill, and just remembering that you know what the heck you're doing. Because sometimes hearing a lot of negative client feedback, or even just getting a lot of changes on something that you really wanted to keep a certain way, it can be like a confidence douser. So this is kind of a good way to remember that you know what you're doing, you've got your chops, you got this. So that's why I'm doing this today on my lunch break. I need to pump my tires a bit. It's been a rough couple weeks. A lot of projects, a lot of deadlines, but also a lot of really fun, cool stuff. So I can't even complain. Okay, so today we have B. Morgan on the chat. She's going to be helping me out. She's the reason that I have all these crazy gestures, because she is my Sicilian sister. And through osmosis, I have gained a little bit of that. I don't know. I hope I don't hitch my new nano mic.
You just can't swing your arms too much.
Gotta, keep it here,
right
hitch.
Here. This is where you live.
Underappreciated chick flick, I gotta say. Paul Hutchison, where are you? Our friend Paul Hutchison from Hype Type Studios in LA. He is an aficionado on rom-coms, and he swears that The Holiday is the best rom-com, and I'm like, hell no, it is clearly You've Got Mail. And I dare you to tell me otherwise. She says,
it's like a tie, okay? I'm just saying that they're both really freaking good.
To me, it's not even in the same category. Anywho, tell us what you think the best rom-com is. I also think I'm an aficionado. She's All That was my go-to in high school, or middle school. I think I watched that every single day. And I also listened to The Hardest Thing by 98 Degrees every day. And I thought about Nate. Jen, what was Nate's name?
Belt.
Nate Belt. Gosh, I loved him so much. Well, it was more like a middle school lust. You know those crushes.
I know.
Yeah. We've all been there.
We all know.
We've all been there. I used to pick a different boy every year to dedicate my love to. Those poor boys. I don't think they ever even knew. To be honest, it was just between me and my journal. I went back and found all my prayer journals when we were moving, and oh my gosh, it's hilarious. I'm like, dear Lord, please make me popular. Please make Troy love me. Gosh, these were misguided prayers. I think I'd be praying for world peace or something. It's horrible. Anyway, we got people in the house from Fullerton. Thank you, B. B will be on chat, so she'll be answering your questions, trying to field me some questions. We don't have the most professional rig. This is an iPhone. This is a blue Nano Yeti. That's pretty pro though. But this is all, we're doing the best we can. So, we're on the wrong screen. This is better. See what I mean? We're learning as we go, people. I use OBS and it allows me to do different little scenes and stuff, but yeah. So we're learning as we go. B's going to be yelling out questions if you have any. If not, just hang out. We'll just be talking, chatting, and just don't do any spoilers to me on The Last Dance, because we're doing fan art today for The Last Dance. Has it been done before? Yes. Has everyone probably done something better and more interesting than I'll do today? Probably. Are we still going to do it because it's dang fun? Yes. You have to do things just for fun. So, yeah, ask questions. B will yell them at me, and we'll try to up our game continually from here. But it'll be fun, that's for sure. So, the thing I love about The Last Dance so far... What? The Last Dance. Do you know what it is? Have you been watching? Are you a part of society? Have you been on Twitter? It's The Last Dance is Tiger King before it. My favorite, or Making a Murderer before it. If you don't know what it is, you're hiding under a rock. The Last Dance is ESPN and Netflix's docu-series on M's in 97, 98, 96, 97, 98, 99, sometime in the late 90s. It was their last chance to win a title with Phil Jackson before he left. There was turmoil from top to bottom. which is weird because growing up, I remember that those were the years that I got into basketball. That's when I remember I watched the Lakers play the 76ers, and I was watching Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant go at it. And that's when, and I was actually at music camp at the time, Maple Mount. Yes, I went to band camp. I played in the orchestra. I played the violin for like 8 years. And I remember we were watching it, and I was just like, basketball is, how did I not know about this very cool thing? Or how did I not care enough about this very cool thing? So it was kind of like my entryway back into loving the sport. And that was the year that this is all kind of chronicled. So it's basically like their last chance to win a title, and they got Dennis Rodman in that year. And Dennis was like the Ron Artest of that time, and he was just like, he was a ball buster. He dove for the out of bound plays. Like he was on the Detroit, Pistons, yes. And they were like the ruffians of the league. They would like legitimately just beat people up. It was pretty, I kind of like that because I like hockey, and I know it's wrong and I know it's bad and you shouldn't do it, but it makes for dang good TV. So anyway, that's what we're doing fan art for. I just love basketball. I love pop culture. Dennis Rodman married the two because he was always doing something crazy, marrying Carmen Electra in a dress, crazy hair. It's going to be fun. Okay, so let's jump over into Adobe Illustrator. All right, and I will pull in my sketch that I did. So I want to do something in ode to Dennis Rodman's hair, obviously. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun? You know, like when you go to the barber shop, or when you used to go to like the hair salon, and they would have that book full of like haircuts that you could choose from. And I want to do something like that, like kind of like a cheesy haircut poster, but featuring, instead of like ask for the Rachel, like when everyone used to ask for the Rachel from Friends, I want it to be like ask for the Rodman, and I want to have like a bunch of different hairstyles that Dennis Rodman wore during this Bulls run. So I think that'll be really fun, and also it'll just help me to connect with my fellow basketball lovers. I think it's going to be really fun. So here's my sketch. And you can see it's super rough, but it's good enough. It'll give us an idea, and I think I've got his general features pretty well done. And I don't want this to be like crazy perfect because I'm trying to just do something on my lunch break for fun, and I love giving myself a time constraint. I think that's the best way to do a personal project so that you don't get too precious with it. We actually just redesigned our Hoodzpah logo the other day, and we did it the exact same way that we did our first logo, which was just giving ourselves essentially a week to do it and just saying, you know what, we have to figure it out. We have to make it work. And I really like doing things like that because it forces you to just make a decision and then, you know, move forward. There's multiple right answers to any given like design problem. So I kind of like that method of doing it instead of just hemming and hawing. So I think I'm just going to start out by doing some like simple shapes, and then I can kind of tweak things from there. I think I'm also going to go ahead and pull in some photos of Dennis Rodman just so I can see. I really want it to look like him, so I need to be able to have some reference images, and I like to always grab a few so that I'm not relying too much on one image. I don't want a Shepard Fairey Obama fiasco happening to me, although I'm pretty small time. I don't think Dennis Rodman, actually, that being said, this might be on Dennis Rodman's radar because Dennis Rodman used to go to my local bar in Newport, and everyone in Orange County knows that seeing Dennis Rodman is no big thing because he goes to almost all the bars in Newport and Costa Mesa area. But every time he's in a documentary, or every time in The Last Dance, for example, or every time he goes to North Korea to hang out with Kim Jong-un, he's wearing a Class 47 hat, and that's the bar we used to go to and just hang out with the locals, the fishermen locals of Newport. And the owner, Pat, and him go way back. They used to own like a nightclub together. And so we used to see Dennis all the time, and he used to buy everybody pizza and smoke cigars indoors, and he loved that Avicii song, the Wake Me Up one. I feel like it was the Wake Me Up one. No, it was the Oh Brother one. He would play it all the time on the jukebox. I don't know, that just always made me laugh because it's got the like bluegrass like bit in it, which I love, but I just thought it was pretty funny. That bluegrass band is, they have an album with Alison Krauss that's like incredible if you like bluegrass and that kind of thing. Okay, so I've got kind of my references here. I've got my Rodman references up here. I locked those, but I think I'm going to unlock them, and I'm just going to put all of this on its own layer over here, because I like to put it on a layer that I can easily lock and unlock instead of having to, you know, lock every piece individually. That's such a pain in the butt. Cool. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger so I can see them when I zoom out. All right. Cool. Okay, so I've got this background color that I've started. We have like a dedicated Hoodzpah palette that I love to use. This was the best thing I ever did. We do it for clients all the time. We make them a dedicated color palette. Duh, right? It saves you time. It's part of the brand guidelines. But you know, when you're starting your own business, you don't have time for that. You're just trying to make money, get new clients. So we didn't make it one for years. And then 2 years ago, we were like, we need to have we want consistency. We want people to know a Hoodzpah piece when they see it. And so we started making a custom Hoodzpah color palette, and I have it in my Adobe library, and I just can jump in there at any time, grab the colors I want, make a nice palette with a couple different, shades, and it's so much easier. All right, so I'm gonna pull out obviously some reds. So let's get some squares going. I like everything to look nice and organized, even when it's just like a for me project. So I'm gonna pull these down. Let's select. I love this burnt orange. I often use it instead of red. I know I should use the Bulls red, so we'll do it. And I'll get this burgundy too, what the hey. We'll see if we can use all those. Ooh, I'll use this burnt umber color for his skin maybe? Let's see how that works. And then we're for sure gonna need some yellow because I've got that 33 one that kind of looks more like a cheetah thing, and I might just go full cheetah. So I need a yellow, I need like a green, but I also don't like to go too crazy. I kind of like to pick 2 shades and stick in that zone. So I think I'll stay here, and I'll see if I can't make this kind of like dark gold work for the green. And if I can't, I'll pull in this green that we use sometimes. This is kind of a nice palette we've got going here. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to select all these, and I'm just going to pull some into my swatches so I have them, and I don't have to go back and forth. And there's my burnt umber. I love any color with like a little bit of black in it. It just, I don't know, gives it that like kind of retro muted quality. I rarely ever use like a full, like 100% magenta or anything like that. Okay, we've got this green. Okay, cool. And let's see if I can just make these into a folder right quick. Rodman. So I've got my nice little color palette going. Ooh, did I lose my green? No, I didn't. Okay, we're good. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is just make some quick shapes. I like to just get it out there, kind of get some shapes on a little, and then make it work. That's kind of like my mentality. And I always just start out with simple lines, and then I fill in the color later. That's just how I do it. You might be different. And right now I'm just using my pencil tool, and that kind of sucks. I'm gonna use my pen tool. I'm a lot more adept with it, and I actually just think it's way quicker. Everyone thinks I'm crazy that I use my pen tool on a trackpad, and I think I am a bit. Like, why do I hate myself so much? Why don't I just use a mouse like everybody else? But I lost my mouse, and so here we are. So I think I actually want there to be more of like a stop here, and that probably goes out too much. Maybe this kind of goes more like this. And then we can go up here with the lips and the chin area here. This reminds me, one time somebody on Twitter was like, everyone share their inane celebrity sightings now that we don't see anyone famous anymore. And people were sharing the funniest stuff about just like holding a door for Jon Stewart at the New Jersey Turnpike and like just weird stuff. Well, I was getting coffee at Kit Coffee in Costa Mesa, which is like a really cute coffee shop. And I was driving at the time I was driving this 1972 Mercedes 280 SEL, which was my daily driver. I loved that thing. It was this rad old Mercedes. And so I was driving it, and it was really early in the morning, and I was just going to pick up a coffee to go. And I flew into this parking spot, but the parking lot's really weird. Like, you're only allowed to park in certain spaces. They have this like parking monitor. It's like a whole thing, and you can get a ticket and they'll tow you. And I was like, last thing I need to do is get towed this morning. So I flew into this parking spot, saw the sign, and I was like, oh shoot, I need to get out of here and find a different spot. So I throw it into reverse, but because I flew into the parking spot so fast, there was this 2 people walking, and I scared the people that were walking in front of me. And I was like really close. This car didn't have great brakes. It was a 72-year-old car, or 72. So I fly in, the people that I'm like flying into the parking spot in front of, they go, whoa. And it was like a little short fat guy in front. He goes, ah. And I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then this guy peeks out from behind him. And it was Kobe Bryant. It was Kobe Bryant, and I had been waiting to see Kobe Bryant my whole life. I love Kobe Bryant. And then so I flew it into reverse, and I was like, sorry, I flew it into reverse like this, and I was like, Kobe Bryant! And I went like this in my car, and he was like, he gave me a wave. And I heard he was kind of an asshole, so that was really nice that he gave me a wave. I was pretty happy about that. So I had like a Home Alone moment, though. I wish I played it a little bit cooler. But you know what? Maybe it made his day. Who knows? Okay, so I'm just kind of getting some shapes here. And I usually do line detail. Like some people will like draw shapes. I usually do line work, and I don't know. I don't know why I do that. Kind of like a comic book artist almost. So he has this nose that's kind of like, his nostrils always looked flared, like Justin Timberlake. You know what I'm talking about? So I need to like make sure that that is in there, because that's like the classic Dennis nose. I also need to make sure he kind of has like sleepy half-closed eyes all the time. Like his eyelids are always kind of covering his eyes. That's the kind of eyes he has. So I want to make sure that that shows as well. So these are like just some of the little things that I'm trying to do to make sure it looks like him. So I am just going to go ahead and use a circle tool for his eyeball. I don't need to try to draw my own circle. I don't have anything to prove to you people. Okay, I use the shape tool all the time. All right, and then we're just gonna go here, do the under of his eye. The interesting thing about illustration I find, especially like the illustration that I like, is less is more. And this was like really hard for me to learn because I'm a maximalist to the max. I love more. Look at this wall. It's everywhere. There's so much stuff. And that's like when I started doing illustration, I was like every detail, every wrinkle. That's just not flattering. And you just don't need it. It's like drawing every line of teeth when you draw a mouth. It looks terrifying. You don't need to see that kind of detail. I have this theory that, you know, it's like your parents, like, they look so cute in their old photos and stuff, and you're like, why were they so much cooler than us? And like, you know, we have so many wrinkles and all this kind of stuff. And I don't think they were cuter, and I don't think we were cuter when we were younger. I think the image quality was just worse. Got high-res everything. They can get every pore. And it's not fair. Okay, so we're going to give him like 3 wrinkle lines just because he always had his eyes like, what? What did I do? What'd I do, ref? What's up? And we might add in, now that I have this line drawn, I'm just going to grab my pencil tool and just kind of go over and kind of give some ridges. It wouldn't just be flat. All right, cool. And I'll probably adjust that later. Those are like way too big. They look like pimples. Okay, let's do it one more time. It needs to be like more shallow. That's better. Okay. All right. So we're getting somewhere. And then his eyebrows were always kind of, he had this like, he had a good arch. Like any brow lady would be like, yeah. Like you could use his arch as those like airbrush templates that some girls do, you know? Airbrush eyebrows. Speaking of eyebrows, I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to wax my own eyebrows because dang! It's getting a bit personal. Okay. And this, sometimes I'll do like a line on the bottom and then I'll do like a couple of hairs. I think I'm actually going, and then I'll do like a couple of cross hairs too, like, cause your eyebrows kind of go up and to the side like this. This might end up being too much, we'll see. And then sometimes if I really want to accentuate something, like that point, I'll draw like the little, I'll make another accentuation of the point. So, okay, we're getting places. He has like a really strong cheekbone and, you know, like jawbone area. Like it's very, very distinct. So I'm just going to start kind of getting this in here. He always kind of looks like he's doing an Elvis snarl too, which I kind of like. And then he's kind of got this shadow that comes in here. And then on his nose, he has like a little bump, kind of like Kyle Kuzma does. I studied Kyle Kuzma very closely because I did a little bit of fan art on him too. I love Kuz. I like his energy. Kuzma plays for the Lakers, if you didn't know. He's a young guy. He's kind of like Rodman. He wasn't as low picked, but he was like a lower pick, and everyone was kind of like, he's okay. And then he really just showed up. And I just love that he's like willing to learn from LeBron and the older guys, and he's willing to like move wherever they need him. And I just think that's awesome. You got to be able to learn from people who are smarter than you. Cool. All right, there's his eyebrow that goes over there. And then I don't think you would be able to see his other eye from this angle. So we're just going to leave that off. And then I'm going to get my pen tool again, and I'm just going to quickly draw in his luscious lips. And usually what I'll do is sometimes I'll just kind of, because I've already kind of created the outside edge on that, I'm just going to go outside of it because I'm just going to pathfinder it out later. And I'm realizing that I have my pixel, let's see, snap to pixel turned on, which I friggin' hate. I hate snap to pixel. Okay, so we're going to turn that off too. Okay, and we can fix that again as well. And his bottom lip is a little bit bigger than his top lip. So we're gonna he's talking, he's mid-sentence, he's mid-saying, I don't know, he's contesting his foul to the refs is what I think is happening. Cool. And then I like this little, he always has this like little crack in his lips. Kind of like the one that like all the Instagram girls pay for when they get those. Okay, cool. So we're getting somewhere. Okay, and then I think what we'll do is we'll add his mustache later. I kind of just want to see, I want to drag this over and kind of see where I'm at. So I've got some good lines going. This is looking good. Okay, I think I am going to just draw in a jawline and his ear. We'll do that. And he has like kind of like small little ears that come in like this. And then he always wears, of course, the earrings, the ball. B, what kind of gauges do you think those are? B used to work at a body jewelry company. All right, let's see. Yeah, it has like a little ball on it. Okay, so there's that. And then we can add that kind of detail later. And we'll just quickly draw in his back, which I want to include because I want to be able to include his number so people know who he is. And I don't know like how strict they are about like fan art. It's like, as long as we're not making money off of it, I'm pretty sure it's okay. It's just like an ode to something we love, you know? And I know one of the designers at the Bulls. What's up, Dave? He's a metal guy, big into metal. Gave me a lot of great suggestions. A lot of designers are metal guys. John Contino, Teresa Wozniak, designer, awesome designer. Love her lettering stuff. They all gave me great metal suggestions, but I don't know how strict they are on stuff like you cannot recreate imagery of Dennis Rodman, but me and Dennis go back, man. We go back to the Newport days. So hopefully he doesn't mind. Cool. All right. That's like his shoulder, that like shoulder muscle that they have. And I can kind of work that out more. I want him to look like these muscles are actually like strong and not just warbly. Okay, so we'll kind of add a little detail there. And then I'm just going to use my pencil tool because this material is very like organic, so we don't have to worry about it being like perfect. And I actually like it when it's, like I said, I like it when it's not perfect. I think the illustration styles that I like, it's not about perfection, it's about a feeling. And I think that comes with imperfections, right? Like no one's perfect. And then like, let's say that this jersey will have like, because it's on his back, there will be like, you know, rippling in the material. And so let's say it ripples there. And maybe this ripple, oops, nope, don't make it pixel perfect. But maybe there's a ripple there. Okay. And then we will get our other part of this. Cool. All right, so that's our first Rodman. Let's just, I like to do it on top of my sketch and then option drag it over to my artboard. And then usually I'll kind of like hone in the style on one and then kind of keep going from there. So let's just see what we can get to on this one. So I'm just gonna group this. Actually, I'm not gonna group this. I'm going to ungroup this and I'm going to select my background color and I'm just going to create a new layer and just throw that on its own layer and lock that so I'm not always having to fight with that. Cool. All right, so first thing I always do is I select all my lines and I like to have a tapered edge. I like it to look kind of artsy, like someone drew it. Like I didn't use a computer to draw it. I'm a fraud. Okay, so I'm gonna use this tapered 2, which is just a tapered brush width profile that I made myself. It's really easy to do with your variable width profile, and we talked about it in a live stream a couple days ago. The Kentucky Injury Law one, if you want to check it out, which they approved the logo. I should show you guys that later. It turned out really good. Okay, so first thing I do is kind of get my thickness kind of the way I want it, and I'll probably end up using 2 different thicknesses, and I like to keep it pretty consistent, and maybe we'll just put them here. And I like them to be like fairly, it should be able to tell that they're different. There's 2 different things. So I think I'll use this, maybe we'll go 2.5 on that, and then I think I'll use something like 4.5, and then maybe we'll have something smaller for smaller details. I don't know. We'll see if we need that. Actually, 4.5 is kind of thick. We'll go 4. It seems like a bit much. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see where we're at. And I'll usually use the really thick one for the general outline details. And then I'll use the super thin one. So let's go to, or the thinner one for the finer details in like the face and things like that. Okay, so that's that. It looks too thick now, but hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, so I'm going to select some of these smaller things, like maybe this, maybe this. Definitely his eyebrows. Those need to be much thinner. You can't even see really what's happening there. Okay, let's select all that. We'll start there. Maybe these like folds in the clothing. It's good. Other good thing. And then I'm just gonna use my eyedropper, and I'm gonna eyedrop that 2.5. Okay, and we'll just kind of start there. I think I'm gonna have to majorly simplify these eyebrows. Wow, there's a lot happening there. Just gonna go ahead and start doing that, I think. Because I want there to be some show through, you know? So that's what makes it look like an eyebrow. Okay, and I'm just gonna redraw this. Because I want a little skin showing through. Okay, and we can keep working on that. I'm still not like 100% sold on that. And you know what I might do? I might use a full taper on the eyebrows. That might be the best thing to do, but that is getting better. Okay, so I'm going to just select that eyebrow. I'm going to group it, and I'm going to go full taper. Yeah, that might be better. And then I don't even still love it, but you know what? We'll keep going, because the worst thing you can do is just get stuck on like a stupid small detail. You gotta just kind of like get it basically going, and then take the time to be like, what is wrong with this? And I might end up using a smaller brush. Maybe that is necessary. So we're just gonna draw some more of these little hairs. Okay. And that. Cool. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to need to pathfinder this eyeball, because you obviously can't see the top of my eyeball through my eyelid. So usually what I'll do is I'll just copy, paste in front the top of the eyelid that I do, and then I just use my pencil tool and I continue the path, and I create an enclosed shape. Then I shift select that with my pupil, and I use my pathfinder tool to just select that eyeball. And then I can fill that. I'll fill that black. That's looking like Dennis. Goodness, that's looking like Dennis. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this one in the lighter weight, and I'm going to select this eyebrow and do that in. I think all of these eyebrows need to be thinner, so I'm going to just go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna group it, group both those eyebrows, and I'm gonna do 1.5 on that. Whoa, way too thin. Okay, this is tough, man. This is a balancing act. 2. Let's try 2. Ooh, we'll do 2, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this big line on the top and the bottom, and we're gonna do 2.5 on that one. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, where is my stroke? There we go. So we'll go 2.5 on that, and then let's do that. Okay, I think that's looking good. All right, so this can be 2.5 as well. That way it doesn't go over the eyelid like it was. Okay, yep. And then I'm going to Command-C, Command-F, paste in place, copy and paste in place on this one. And I'm just going to cut the end of that path right here so I can make a complete shape to fill in for his nostril. And then I'll just hit that Pathfinder button, and now I have something I can fill. And I'll just go ahead and just delete that. Now I'm going to use Pathfinder to do my lips. So I'm just going to first just copy this, the profile that I made, paste in front twice because I have 2 lips that I need to Pathfinder out. Shift select both of my shape of my outline of my face and my top lip, and I'm going to Pathfinder out what's in the middle. This one right here. Intersect, it's called. Eventually I will learn the names of these tools, I swear. Okay, cool. Right on. Okay. See what I mean about these details? Like, I feel like 2 wrinkles makes him look too old. He's not old. He's virile. He's ready to fight. So maybe we just do 2 of them. I don't know. We'll work it out. Okay, so on this one, I am going to do that in the 2.5, I think. Doesn't need to be that crazy. And then let's start filling in some colors. I think that's going to be a big part of what makes this look cool or not. And then I still want to stylize this more. Right now, it's cool and all, but I want it to be more stylized. And usually I'll do that by adding either a roughen around all of the edges, the black edges, or I'll do that by selecting some sort of like a stylized brush, like a vector brush from like True Grit Texture Supply or Retro Supply, something like that. Wow, True Grit Texture. It's a tongue twister. Okay, so I'm going to draw some detail on his ear. It's funny how you kind of just learn basically what an ear looks like eventually. Okay. And this needs to continue on up so that it's like actually connected to his ear. If you just select the path that you want to continue, then you can continue drawing on it with your pencil tool. It's kind of neat if you didn't know that. Okay, so let's fill in his hair black first before we colored anything crazy. And we definitely it needs to have a warble on it. It's because we need to mimic like the curliness of his hair. So we're going to go into Effect, Distort and Transform, Roughen, and we are going to do something more like 1%, and we're going to go something like 30 here, Smooth. Okay, that's looking sort of close. I think it's a little too big still. Maybe we'll go 0.75. Let's see what that does. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's looking close. Okay, now if I'm looking at these reference images of Dennis, I think his forehead needs to be taller and his hairline needs to be taller. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do that right now. I'm just going to use my white selection tool. Actually, I'll double click in here first. Use my white selection tool, up this a bit, and then use my white selection tool and just make that a bit taller too. Oh, didn't want to do that. Maybe I'll just delete that line. Is that looking more like him? And then go here, and I think what it needs to have is like a little boop. And then just one here. Set this top one too. Let's try that. I think that is better. It also, his hairline kind of also goes down. I'm going to just add, I'm basically just going to grab my pencil tool again, and I'm going to go like this. Oop, kind of messed that up. Okay, let's try that. All right, cool. Okay, okay. Also, his muscles don't look big enough, but we'll fix that later. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this shoulder kind of thing that we've got going on. I'm going to paste it in front, and I'm going to make it a shape by just clicking that far hand left Unite Pathfinder tool, and I am going to subtract the excess from his head that I don't need. Send that to the back. Okay, and then we definitely need to give him his token goatee. Like, that needs to happen sooner rather than later. So I usually I've still got my tapered edge on. I have it set to where in my preferences that when I use a pencil or a pen, it automatically remembers my last settings. So that's why this is still handily using my tapered edge that I liked. Okay, so that's looking okay. And what did his goatee look like? Okay, so it kind of hugged his lip a bit more. So I'm just going to select all these guys, move them down a bit, and we might need to give him a longer lip. like this part, like a more of a John Cleese. Right now it's kind of non-existent. Okay, so, okay, B says we have a question in the chat. What's up, B? Oh man, okay, I had Astute Graphics plugins on my other computer, my iMac, but I got this MacBook Pro, and I need to download them all, get them in here again, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, I need to take the time to really look up the different plugins that they have. I kind of only use the Dynamic Sketch one, but I really want to look up the other tools that they have because I know that they're just so awesome. Dave Clayton is like one of my favorite people. He's such a nice guy, and there's so many great tools to use, and so I need to do the time of like looking up some tutorials on their site and just figuring out like how this can help me save time and be more streamlined, because I know I could, and I love streamlining my process. More time to make more cool stuff. Okay, cool. So I've got that, and his chin beard kind of like, I think I'm gonna just like draw a little. I like it to look like there's texture, but then I think sometimes you just kind of need to get it in there. Okay, so it's kind of close, but there's something off. We'll figure it out. I think it's that his eyelid is too... Also, I think his eyes are too big. He actually has kind of small eyes. These are more Scottie Pippen eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to make his eyes a little bit smaller. Actually, I'll just select all of it. Just kind of go in a bit. Okay, yeah, I think that's definitely helping. Definitely. Okay. And I think this nostril is a bit too high. So I think I'm also just going to scale this a bit. And then we'll have to, I usually have scale effects on, so we will have to make sure that those still match our other strokes. So I'm just going to select this. Eyedropper it from the big one. La-dee-da. There you have it. Cool. B says we have another question in the chat.
Jen says his forehead is too thin to make it more straight.
Oh, Jen Hood, everybody. Jen Hood telling me exactly what's wrong with this. You know what I'm going to do? Oh my gosh. Okay, sometimes I think this is genius, but let's see. I think I'm just going to cut this. Well, I need to cut it somewhere else. I need to cut it like here and here. He's kind of looking back over his shoulder like this, though, you know? So I kind of chose like a weird pose. But okay, so I think I'm just going to do that. And then we'll go join that path again. We'll just go down here. Make sure this is all good. Whoops. Join that by doing Command J, selecting those points. Okay, Jen was right, of course, as always. Having a twin is like being married. You just want to be right so bad. You're like, no, this is what we do. But I was right yesterday, and Jen actually said, you were right. It felt good, because usually Jen is right. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Also, he has kind of a pointy head, I've noticed, and I studied him. I studied Dennis. I studied what was happening. Let's look at some side. Okay, no, it needs to be rounder in the back too. Okay, so let's go. It needs to have like more of an alien bulb. It's not flat. He's got a good bubble on his head. Okay. No, I think that made it worse. Let's go there. Okay, let's just keep moving forward. Let's keep trekking. Okay, so I still think his eye might be too big. A soul patch. Interesting. People are saying he needs a soul patch. Did he really have a soul patch? That's hilarious. Okay, so we're going to... And this kind of goes more, I think, like this. Actually, maybe we don't need that. Maybe that's like making him look too old. But I do feel like he needs... Okay, so let's go. Actually, I'm going to redraw that, and I'm going to make it a little lower. I think it's a little too sleepy. I know he has kind of a little bit of a sleepier eye, but I think that was too far maybe. Cool. All right. So that's pretty good so far, I think. We can hone that in a bit more as we go. I probably will in my own time when you guys aren't watching. And I do feel like it's a little too close to his nose now. Okay, so we're gonna go like that. I think me trying to move this stuff around was the worst idea. Ooh, I'm gonna go into preferences, general, turn off scale strokes and effects, and that way I can scale it without losing my, okay, so we're gonna go there, and then I'm gonna go and turn that back on, because I like to have that on. Cool. All right, okay, well, I think that's pretty dang close, to be honest. Okay, so now I'm gonna start doing some fill colors, because that's when it really starts to take life and get fun. And also, did Dennis Rodman really have a soul patch? I just don't know about that. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so we're going to, first I'm just going to group those, double click in, select it with my white selection tool, Command J join. Now that can be ungrouped, and that gives me something to play with a fill on. So I think I'm just going to pull this down so I can see my colors. I'm going to do, obviously, the red there, I think. We'll start there. And then I'm going to do, let's see, in front. We're using the Pathfinder tool again just to make a nice little enclosed object. And I'll just eyedropper from that red that we already made. Cool. Alrighty. And like that. Okay, cool. And then, okay, we have a question. What was the question?
How far into the details will you go in early stages, or is it just kind of something else?
So somebody's asking me, how far into details do I go in the early stages? I don't know, like if something's really bugging me, like, and I feel like it's like needs to be fixed before it's gonna look like him, I'll keep like futzing with it, but sometimes the best thing you can do is just keep working. I feel like it's really easy to get like hung up on little details, when really if you can just get it basically on paper. This is embarrassing. And maybe not embarrassing. I was listening to Chris Carrabba, yes, Dashboard Confessional, and Brian Fallon of Gaslight Anthem, and they were talking about songwriting and on an Instagram Live, and they were saying like the hardest part is just getting something done. And I truly believe that. So I think it's just a matter of like getting something done that you can start filling in and start making. Then you can step away from it. That's the key. That is like the moment when the magic happens and your brain is able to reset. You've been looking at it too long, so you walk away, open it up the next day, and you're like, okay, I know exactly what's wrong. And so I like to just try to get it all started and then go from there. So let's start filling in some, what I might do is I might do this like offset thing. So I'm just going to copy the shape, go Command B to paste behind. And I might try like doing some offset play. So I'm just going to take that stroke off. I'm just going to use the color. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but let's give it a try. And I'm going to add a stroke of, oh no, you know what I'm going to do? I like to do this sometimes. This might completely overload my machine. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I'm going to do a brush stroke, and I'm going to I actually just use the standard ones a lot of the time. Let's see if we can open, weird, I'm not seeing where you can open up. Oh, here we go, it's over here. So I need to hit that hamburger icon, open brush library, artistic. We're gonna go chalk charcoal. And I usually use, I think it's this one, but it could also be this one. But I like to use these, and I like to use these as a fill. And I feel like it makes it look really a little bit more artistic. And like kind of, like I said, like not perfect. And I like that. So like, let's say we do that. The only thing is I hate, and tell me if you know how to fix this, but I really hate how it does like a 90% on the outside. I just really hate that. wonder if there's a way you can like change that. What does persistent mean? I'm kind of afraid to click that. But that drives me crazy. So usually what I'll do is after everything is kind of the way I like it, then I'll go in and I'll like basically object, path, outline stroke, and then I'll just pathfinder it, and then it'll alternate one color. And let's go to here, and for whatever reason, I need to click that one. Yeah. So sometimes that's what I'll do. But do you see how it kind of gives it that like cool like shaft almost, you know? I like that a lot. So I'm going to keep doing that. I think I'm just going to I just draw big lines. Oop, I need to select my thing again. And I'm just going to draw some lines that I can fill. And then I'll also use it for the highlights. So I used those bigger brushes. So I'll just go and head and object, path, outline stroke those real quick and fill those in the right color. And then I think what I'll do is I'll make a new layer where I can keep all my color fills so that my outlines can be on one layer and my color fills can be on another. That way I'm not like constantly fighting myself to select the right thing. Okay, so we'll call this color fills. This one will be outlines. Okay, so then what I'll also do is like I'll go back to my chalk brush pencil, and I'm going to play with highlights. And this is how I did like my Kawhi Leonard and my those kind of style illustrations that I've been doing a little bit of. So I'm going to select, I think I want to do, gosh, it might be kind of cool to try this red. It might be like way too intense, but let's give it a go. Let's have some fun with it. Okay, so we're going to select that, and then I'm going to select a taper on it since I'm using it as like a detail stroke now, not just a fill. And I'm going to take it down to like 0.3. Let's see what that starts with. And then I usually will just kind of follow my path that I'm looking to follow. And then I use it to create like a highlight scenario. And his nose, I feel like that's going to be an even brighter highlight. So I think I even want to change to a red background. Let's just go ahead and do that real quick and see how that changes everything. So let's go ahead and do the red in my swatches panel. Okay, that's very aggressive. Okay, let's go. Ooh, is that good even? I don't know about that. I love this yellow, but I want to have like a fun highlight color. Do we go red? Let's go red. Let's just see. I know it feels like aggressive right now, but hear me out, because now we're going to be able to use our yellows as our highlight colors. And you know they were playing with all the lights on, the bright shining lights. So now I'm just going to go back up to 1, I think. And I'm just going to create a quick little fill here. Make sure that's the right color. Send it to the back on my fills layer. Make sure I'm on my fills layer. And send that to the fills layer. I'm just going to lock my outlines for a second. And I'm just going to start filling this in and see kind of what happens. Okay, so now once I get kind of like a few strokes, and maybe I'll just draw a few out with my colors in that I want to use. I'll select that one. And then maybe we'll do, I like to have something like really out there as well. There's that red, which you can still see on top of the red because they do that weird shading that I hate. Okay, and then there's that burgundy. Okay, so I'm going to select this. Oh, it's on my outlines layer. Just going to get these on the right spot. And it's just kind of trial and error. It's like seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work and just keep going. And I like to do that where I'll like take a color and then like start a line and then finish it out with a different color. So it's like obviously the light would hit the top of his nose in those highest points, and then maybe on the downward stroke it goes back to this red. And then on his top lip, the top lip is always, the top lip is always shadowed because the light is coming here, and then the bottom lip protrudes out, so that one is going to be highlighted. So I'm just going to draw a little highlight here, which that might be a bit too much. I want to do one like in this yellow, but then I also want to have the full lip be filled in with a red. So we're going to do that. I'm going to select this red. It needs to be a little bit bigger, maybe 0.5, maybe 0.65. And then we're going to fill that too. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're doing it. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of move that, I think. And then let's go ahead. I think I'm gonna fill, and then I like to use these colors pretty consistently. Like instead of using a white on his eyes, I want to see if I can just use, you know what I mean? Like I want to keep it like really graphic. I don't want it to look, I'm not looking for realism here. I'm not looking to be Jacques-Louis David, who I actually really do love, this painter. I'm looking for it to be stylized. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna try the bright yellow on that. That might be too much, but we'll see. We'll see what we think. And then let's see. In an eye, I always like to do, so I'm gonna like select this red one so it kind of gets that appearance. There's a shadow here on your eyes where your eyelid shadows your eye a bit. So I'm just gonna create those shadows. And then your eyelid here would be highlighted because again, that's a spot that the light hits first. So there'd be a little highlight there, things like that. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock these fills and I'm gonna go to my outlines, and I really hope that my processing power can handle it, because when I use a lot of strokes, man, this thing goes wild. But let's just do it on like the key stuff, and so we can kind of get an idea of style, and then we can always change it a little bit later. Okay, so we're gonna select some of these key elements that we're working with, and I want to add the stroke to those. So I'm going to use, I might use like 2 different strokes. I'm going to use this one down here. And it needs to be at like 0.4 maybe 0.5. Okay, that's 0.5. All right, and then I'm also gonna do that here, 0.5. But now I can actually like change the color of certain strokes. Like these don't need to be black. Those aren't super aggressive. Like I think these can all be maybe that burgundy. So I'm gonna turn those to burgundy. And we're gonna save the dark stuff for, you know, when we need it. Your eye also has like a little highlight. Let's see if I can select this one first. Oh, let's go back to our, so we're still in our outlines. Let's lock our outlines and go back to our color fills. And I'm gonna just keep adding little highlights. Oh, so that's, okay, so I'm gonna unlock that. Take some of these colored ones and put that on the color fill layer, because I want to be able to play around with that a bit. So just move those down, that behind a bit. Cool. And I think also I'm just going to select these 2. These are there's like a little bit too much white space under his eye. It's feeling weird. Okay, so there's that. And then let's see, what do I want to do here? Because this, I think I'm just going to turn this into a fill, and I'm going to redraw those lines. Or you know what I'm going to do, because I don't even really need a fill. Let me just select this background, fill it in enough. And then I'm just going to cut this just so I can see the top and this bottom individually and kind of work with them individually. And I'm going to kind of cut this here, like at the end, so that there's a little bit of skin showing. Makes it look less like a female upper lip and more like a male. I don't know if that's even true, but it's just, to me, it makes it look more realistic on men. I don't know why. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to select all of these, I think, and go ahead and make them that brush. And just hope this computer does not explode. All right, cool. All right, let's fill in his jersey so we can kind of get more feel of like where we're at. Okay, so, or actually we don't even need to potentially fill in his jersey, because maybe his jersey's the red with the white outline. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto my color fills layer, and I'm going to do what I did on the face, and I'm just going to create a color block using this brush. It's a nice big brush. Okay, so we are on this brown for his skin. Just gonna go like that. And I might go up to, like, on some of this big stuff, I'll even go up to 2, you know, like I don't want to have to futz around with it. Send it to the back, and then I'll just keep kind of like, sometimes I'll just do something like that. I like there to be like messy little fills in there, trying to make it look organic. Okay, so we've got all that. I think I'm just going to select all that brown that I just drew, and I'm going to group it together so that it's easy for me to select as a whole. So I'm going to send that to my back by going Command Shift left bracket. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to go ahead and might just fill this a bit more. I know I said I liked it a little bit messy, but you also want to make sure that the only thing is that the sharp points, when you use these brushes, it doesn't like sharp points. It'll do like something crazy sometimes. Okay, so let's fill that a bit more. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and Object, Path, Outline Stroke, because I don't want my computer to freak out, and I'm just going to make that a whole shape now. And then I'm going to select the skin color again, since it keeps changing at that 90%. Okay, cool. So that's looking cool. And then I'm going to continue with my highlights. I'm going to this. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with this one and just cut this and just have more of like, not full outline, more of like choosing where the outlines go. So maybe I don't even need that. No, I need that. Okay. But for me, illustration is all about what to take out, what to remove. That's the thing that I have to learn what to do, is what doesn't need to be here. What is extraneous too much? Okay, so it's like, I think that would go there, and then maybe there would also be like a little yellow highlight here. You know what I mean? Around the top of his lip. Okay, so, and I think that would be like 0.5. Cool. And I think this yellow in here might be too much, but I'm not sure what color exactly I want it to be. So I think we're just going to keep going, and then we'll figure it out when we figure it out. Cool. Okay. So what we can also do is, like you see on these photos, like when you look at the lights shining on there, we're trying to get these nose lights, these mouth highlights. Ooh, I love that lip highlight. I always forget about that. I've already got this one down here. You're right. He has a soul patch. There it is. There's that soul patch. Okay. And I need to get his teeth and the black in his open mouth. And so yeah, so I'm going to get some more of these highlights going, and then I'm going to get some more of these dark highlights going. That's going to be fun. So let's get back over here. Okay, so, and I'm kind of feeling like I love this burgundy. I don't think it's dark enough. So I think I might go select same stroke color. B's laughing at something. What's up, girl? What's happening in chat? B thinks I'm funny. Isn't that nice? I'm blessed with sisters that just, they love me. Okay, cool. So here is, I'm going to do a darker burgundy until I can like outline it all, because it's hard to see. So I'm going to turn that red, I'm thinking. Yeah. And then I'm going to use this burgundy. I'm going to use it for doing shadows here, because he has this shadow here. That's what we're missing. I feel like that's making it not feel like him a little bit. Oh yeah, see how that's already making it feel more like him? Okay, and then I'm going to do another one of those here, because there would be a shadow here as well. And we can adjust these, you know, like I think it needs to be a little closer in there. Okay, oh yeah, that's happening. That's working for me. Okay, so then I'm also going to select this one again, and I'm just gonna go like this. And like I said, I like to use bigger ones on these like bigger swash details, and in fact, I might just draw those in like this so that I don't have to outline them yet. Just kind of like do like that. And we'll go all the way up to 1 on that. Cool, and then we'll do the same on this. All right, so we're just doing chiaroscuro. Remember art history? Who took art history? That was like my favorite class. I thought I wanted to be a fine artist before I was a designer, but then I found design. But yeah, chiaroscuro, you're just trying to mold, shape, and I start with those outlines, but I don't like to do all black outlines, even though I do think they're helpful for certain things. I absolutely do. And maybe I can eventually just delete that once I kind of I'm going to keep certain things, but yeah, maybe I can kind of delete that soon. Okay, so I'm going to do those highlights that come here on when the ridge of your face, you're going like this. There's like highlights that catch on the tops of those ridges. And so I'm going to just get that shape going. And then we're going to turn on our brush pattern. I want to make sure it's tapered so it's not just like blobs. And we'll go down to 0.5 on that. And then we're going to select our yellow highlight. Cool. And I want to still be able to see that red. So I'm just going to kind of make sure we can still see the red. Okay, cool. And then I think there needs to be more highlight on his nose as well. Like if we look at, yeah, and the brow here, I think. There needs to be like here. Okay, there's something going on in the chat. What's up, B?
Jen wants to know where his other eye is.
It's hidden by his nose. Does there need to be something there? Let's draw a little bit of something.
Also, someone said, I know how much people illustrate. We just took it back to when I was little kid. We used to watch Bob Ross.
Bob Ross! Oh my gosh, to think I could be a small fraction of this generation's Bob Ross. That's heartwarming. That's what that is. Okay, Jen asked where the eyeball was. Well, Jen, we're working on it, okay? We're doing our best. I know I do need to do something like that, but I just don't know yet. So give me a bit to figure it out. Okay, so I am going to continue on this. Do you think that needs to be there still? That highlight's good. Okay, so I still want this, but I do want it to be more of a highlight like we were talking about. So maybe we do like, I cut that there because I want this to be yellow, and then I want it to continue out in the red, like in a softer, or yeah, I think in the red. Yeah, that's cool. And then I don't know where his teeth would go in here right now. Let's just fill it all black for now, and then we'll kind of figure that out later. Cool. Okay, now I should have done this before I had all these like things, but I need to select his beard and kind of group it so it's not just, you know, hard. It's like right now I can't really get it all at once. So I'm just going to deselect all this stuff. Bear with. Okay, and just select his beard hairs, his individual beard hairs. Group that. And that way I can play with that on its own. Okay, cool. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep adding some detail in other areas. So let's see if I still do still need that. Okay. All right, for now at least. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy. Well, I think I'm going to just draw a new shape that will go in the back. That will be the white of this jersey because I do think I want to do a white potentially. So I've just got my pencil tool and I am just kind of drawing along. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of close. And then I'm just going to close that in and I'll just fill it. I usually use this off-white. This is going to be controversial because the LA Rams just released jerseys and everyone's up in arms because it's off-white, but I like off-white for this purpose. I think it looks good. Okay, cool. And then what we'll do is we'll change these highlights to also be brush, I think. I'm gonna do some brush on here, make it a taper, 0.5. I like to know what I'm gonna do. Actually, no, 0.25. That's too big. 0.25 for sure. Okay, cool. All right, and then I'm going to use this outline now, and I'm just going to cut it into pieces where the highlights need to go. So if you think about if the light's shining down from the top of the arena, there would be a highlight here that was probably yellow. Then it would go to maybe the red. This would be probably shadowed by his neck maybe, so I'm going to keep that black. And then maybe go to red on his shoulder, actually yellow on his shoulder, to there. And then where it goes in the divot, it'll be red, yellow, red to yellow. Okay, does this make any sense? Red to yellow, red to yellow. What am I even talking about? Okay, so let's make this all that yellow. And I'm going to select all these because I'm going to turn them all into my brush strokes. I may as well just do it all at once instead of doing them piecemeal. Okay. And let's go ahead and select this brush. Actually, I'm going to select the other one that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more tapered. Let's see how that looks. And then we'll go 0.5. Maybe we'll do this bigger one. And then 0.35. Let's do that. Okay, cool. And then, let's go ahead and group that. And I'm going to do a taper. Of course, me and my tapers. Am I predictable or what? Okay, cool. All right, so this is feeling a bit heavy. I think I'm going to do a full taper instead of just like the variable or like the kind of flat end that has a thicker end. I want it to be full taper on that. I think I am going to do them a bit smaller, maybe 0.35. And yeah, I think that's better. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's good. That's all good. This maybe needs to be red. Just eyedropper that from there. Yeah, that's looking more realistic because I want it to look a little realistic. I don't want it to look completely cartoony. So, yeah. So let's see what happens if we remove that now. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I do feel like his face is coming too far out now. Like some of these highlights need to be a bit more restrained. So we're just gonna go 0.25, I guess, on those. And then we are going to, maybe we'll extend this out to there. And we will extend this up to that. Okay, cool. And then B says we have a question in the chat.
Are these default brushes or ones you've installed?
So these are just the defaults. Look what you can do with defaults, man. So I, like I said, I need to like get better about like trying new brush packs and things like that, but for the most part. And then what else?
Someone said if you're using like pink for the jersey, they feel like you should do it for the eyes too.
Good point. Somebody mentioned that I'm using white on the jersey, so now I can do it for the eyes. And that's it. I think it's just like starting somewhere as you work different colors into your palette, making sure that you're using them more than one place so it's not just like a mistake. It feels like on purpose. Okay, so that's looking good. And then let's see, maybe I'm going to select my black. Just want to make sure that that's right. And maybe I'll just do full taper on that one too. 0.35. Okay. Okay, cool. I think I do still need my outline here. And his brow kind of goes like out here. All right, so then we can do this here. Those are a little too thick still. All right, cool. And his neck somehow got real dinky. And I don't want him to have a dinky neck because Dennis Rodman ain't got no dinky neck. But there is a highlight there. So I am going to keep that. And then that's going to go like that, I guess. And then he probably has like a neck wrinkle here because he's like turning his head a bit. And then, oops, I want to select this one. All right, and I still think his neck is a little too, let's see what it looks like. He also could use an Adam's apple. Like I feel like it would have been, it sort of should be hidden, but it also is probably a little bit showing. You know what I mean? So maybe like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do, I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna select this burgundy and I think I'm going to put it here. It's all just a big experiment. Actually, Actually, I'm going to do it all in here because under his neck he would have a shadow. Okay, so we're going to put this here. Okay, Jen's in the chat. She has more feedback. Jen, let's hear it. Oh, it's not Jen. It's Chris Crockett, what's up? Oklahoma in the house. Yeah, so Chris Crockett is a fellow NBA fan, living in OKC, making cool illustrations. And he said the Last Dance made him empathize with Rodman a lot. Rodman gets a bad rap, and it's funny because, like I said, we used to see him a lot at Class of 47, and of course he's a character, but, like, he is just, like, he's a human. He's, like, you know, just like the rest of us. So, I don't know, it makes me sad when people just act like he's just kind of like a trope to laugh about, you know? But I think he's so interesting. I love when Phil Jackson says, "Don't put a saddle on a Mustang." It's like my favorite quote. Okay, cool. So we're getting somewhere. Okay, cool. So I do think there would be a highlight on the back of his neck. Like I said, on the back of this jersey, probably. I'm going to turn that yellow. I think I'm going to turn this also yellow. We can always, like, go back and maybe we do, I'm not sure. There's something not right there, but we'll figure it out later. Make that outline like that. Get rid of this that I don't need. It's like in the back, just kind of like a gremlin that got left over. I'm gonna go ahead and just select. I'm afraid to do it because I don't want this thing to go wild, so maybe I will wait a bit on that. But I am going to do the eye suggestion from chat because I think that was looking a bit garish. And I am going to turn this into a brush too, but it's going to be very fine. See how that's way too much. Maybe 0.1, like just the finest of fine. Maybe 0.15. And I think I'm also going to do a little highlight on his eye. So thinking about his eye, there would be a shadow there, but then there would probably be a highlight down here. Let's go back to outlines. Oops. Make sure I'm on the right layer here. Like there, and then maybe there would be, if I use this burgundy, there would probably be like, and I'll just make it a little bit smaller. Maybe that would be down here, actually. Yeah, down here. And then I'm going to move this up. And I'm going to make this 0.2, because it doesn't need to be that big. And this can be 0.35, I guess. Let's see where we're going here. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, save! Don't forget to save. Save often. Luckily now Illustrator has like the feature where it'll make sure it'll help you out if things go awry. But yeah, save often. Okay, we have another question in chat. What's up, B?
As you're doing your detail lines, are you already thinking about where this will end up, or just making it for fun and then add later, like if it'll be a print, a social post, or a shirt, etc.?
So somebody's asking, are you just making this graphic for fun? Like, when you're making this, are you wondering, like, how can I monetize this potentially? For stuff like this, for the basketball stuff, usually I'm just doing it for fun. It starts out purely for fun. But of course, like, that does lead to paid projects. Like, if people see that you can do something that, obviously then if somebody in the NBA wants to hire me and I don't have any work showing any interest in the NBA or sports, it's harder for them to hire me. But if I have work that shows that I'm interested in that field, that I can do illustrations that look really cool or typography that looks really cool for sports, then I think you need to have that. So I definitely am always thinking like, yeah, I want to make this kind of stuff because I want the people who are interested in this that work at the Bulls. What's up? What's up, David? And you know, the Lakers and what's up, JDS and team. I want people like that to see it because I want to work with them. And it totally, we were able to work with the Lakers. And I don't know if this is true. Jay, let me know if I'm just making shit up here. But I don't think they would have worked with us if we hadn't had work in our portfolio that shows that we like to do sports graphics. We can do sports graphics that look cool. Definitely for those reasons, you should work with us. I don't think we would have gotten those opportunities. So am I thinking about how it could be monetized? Not particularly monetized, but how it might connect me with somebody with a like-minded hobbies to do something paid for something that I love. That'd be awesome. That's like the goal, right? That's the dream. All right, so up here he would have a highlight on the top of his ear. Maybe this will do the burgundy swatches. Get my burgundy here. I think I'll go ahead and make the outline of his ear burgundy too. Actually, no, we'll keep that black and we'll do, or maybe we'll keep those black too. I don't know. We're kind of working as we go here, seeing what works. And then probably after I get him done, I'm probably just we'll take a break for the day because we've been working on this for almost an hour and a half, and we'll come back to it with fresh eyes. I'll maybe do some tweaking on my own time, and we'll come back with fresh eyes and keep working on it. All right, so let's see how that's looking. Okay, I do think that first one, at least, this one probably needs to be black. So we'll change that black. Okay, cool, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's just fill in some of his hair. I feel like we need to do that. That's why we're here. So I'm just gonna kind of, I think what I'll do is, yeah, we'll just go like this. We'll just keep going, making some wobbly lines. Because we want it to be nice and wobbly like the curls in his hair. I find that if you do too long of a stroke with your pencil tool, it doesn't like keep all the detail. It'll like smooth it out to fewer points. So I like to kind of do little lines and then. Okay. And I'm kind of creating something on top because like when your hair grows out, you can see your roots. So I'm kind of wanting to keep some of that black underneath, like his original hair color. And let's fill it with the yellow first. Let's get like the boldest version of the color first. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna offset it. So I'm going to just go click up over a few times. Yep, yes. Oh my gosh, I love how this is looking. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to select my, this like kind of gold color, and I'm just going to be drawing some lines. I want to do like some shadows that show the texture, the I don't know, chiaroscuro of the hair. So I'm just going to start drawing a few lines. Once I have a few, this needs to be on color fills. We're going to move that to color fills. We're going to also move this to color fills. Move that back. And then I'm going to lock color fills for a second. And I want to just draw some little lines on our outlines one for now. So I'm just going to draw a few of these, and then I'm just going to use these throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and group those together, Command G, and I am going to put for now I'm not going to do that because I don't want this thing to blow up. So we're just going to pick that gold, and we're going to just intersperse some gold and then maybe also some black ones every now and again. Or maybe that darker gold. It's like really dark gold. Cool. Yeah, stuff like that. And then sometimes I'll even do like a longer one to really show some like texture and that kind of thing. This probably needs to be rotated a bit. And then those can be the lighter one, I think. Yeah, and then maybe I'll move this back here. These can be the lighter ones. Okay, and then on this one, I think we're doing the 33 pattern he did when Scottie Pippen came back. Love Scottie Pippen. I felt a lot of empathy for Scottie Pippen, just as someone who was raised to be a nice person and has had to learn just for business sake not to just be a nice pushover. I really felt for Scottie Pippen. I thought, I don't know, I just feel for people like that. But also, I don't know if he made all of the best decisions, but gosh, who has in their life? Jeez, when you're under a spotlight like that, I don't know, just can't even imagine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the 33s for Pippen. So I think I like to, even though, of course, we can use a font, I like to draw my own. I like it to look, again, like kind of messy, not perfect, hand-drawn. So we're going to do that. We're going to go fill, and we have to fill that with our black. And I'm just going to put a slight stroke on it. That one's not quite gritty enough, I don't think. So we're gonna go with this one, 0.25. Okay, cool. To be honest, when I first saw this one, I thought it was cheetah patterns. I didn't realize it was a 33. That's funny. The things you learn. Thanks, ESPN. The more you know. Okay, and then we've got these threes going down here. Okay, cool. So you can see we're getting somewhere. This is looking like pretty dang good. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna kind of add those in. I'm just gonna use my quick eraser tool, Shift E. Is that right? Yeah. And then you can use your up and down brackets to make it bigger and smaller. And okay, let's call it a day there for now because I think this is really close. And I think now it's time to just let it sit, let it simmer. Walk away, work on other things. I have a couple of client proofs I have to get out, so I'm gonna get off here soon. But yeah, let it sit, let it marinate, and then come back with fresh eyes and figure out what else I need to add in to make it look just that 10% better. So let's just end with, I said I was going to do this new segment called Commiseration Corner, and we made a really cute logo for it and everything, but my OBS software, I couldn't get it to work, so I'll debut that logo at another time on another video. But Commiseration Corner is for whining, crying, and cussing, which happens a lot when you're doing design for a profession. This is obviously the most fun job. I forget to charge people sometimes. It's so fun. Like, if they are, it's kind of how I feel about being able to be a graphic designer. And but there are those moments where, I mean, I treat my computer poorly. I cuss at it. I jam the keypad like my old Nintendo 64. I used to throw that thing across the room when I couldn't pass the Aladdin or the whichever Aladdin lava layer. But so the Commiseration Corner is where I'm going to tell you some stories of just funny things that happened this week that were just ridiculous, that were either just funny and like, what? Why? Or like made me want to cry, or, you know, those kind of things. And then I'd love for you all to email us in with your Commiseration Corners. If something happened that was really funny, email us in anonymously. Use a pen name. You can email us at info@hoodzpahdesign.com. You can put it in the title, just put in the subject line, Commiseration Corner. And I think it'd be so fun to start reading some of these on the air. I just think it'd be hilarious. So just last week, here's a funny one for you. Somebody, first of all, we've been doing a lot of like portfolio reviews and just doing a lot of Zoom calls with different classes across the country just because they can't get speakers to come in. So it's been really fun just dropping in on a few classrooms and doing that. But somebody's mom emailed in to info@Hoodzpah and said, my son's a graphic designer. He's really good. I really think you should hire him. And then she sent me a video, which was really funny because I just would never download a video, I don't think. And I just thought that was so funny. That would be like sending your mom over, like going to a bar with your mom, sending your mom over to a girl and being like, Mom, go tell that girl to date me, or ask that girl on a date for me, or I don't know. It just felt so, I was like, oh, me and Jen and B were just shaking our heads. We were laughing so hard. Don't send your mom to do your dirty work. Shoot that email off yourself. And if your mom's doing it without you knowing, let her know, Mom, you're not helping me out. You're making me look like I'm a mama's boy or girl, you know? So gotta keep those moms in checks, even though we love them. But I thought that was so funny. So that's just a funny one. There's a bunch of other cussing and crying ones, but I don't think I can share them right now. I need to process them still. But send us your Commiseration Corner stories. We'd love to hear it. Josh Ariza has a funny one about getting kicked out of Elon Musk's Tesla facility, I think it was, or was it SpaceX? I don't know. But stuff like that. We want to hear the funny fails from the day-to-day. Feel free to change the names and the places to protect the innocent. Bum, bum. And thanks so much for tuning in. This was so much fun. I hope you learned a few things. I hope you just had fun on your lunch break. We'll be back doing more next week. Join us. You can subscribe down at the bottom to make sure that you get updates on new videos. We do how-tos. We're going to do some interviews with friends, our friends like Mary Rivas and Paul Hutchison soon. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.